Showdown on Capitol Hill, Republicans trying to rein in the power of federal judges as legal battles go on over President Trump's agenda.
Time and time again, rogue judges have asserted, as though they were 5 of the 9 members of the Supreme Court.
Republicans on this committee are sending a message to anyone who dares to stand up to Donald Trump. If you step out of line, they will target you next.
Our Constitution did not create a plural executive or judicial tyranny. Today, we're far too close to both.
If President Trump's agenda is as popular as he claims, he can work with his allies in Congress to convince the American people to support it.
Who gets to make the call? Is it the guy whose name was on the ballot, or is it some bureaucrat? Is it the guy who got 77 million votes, or some district judge?
Trump and Musk have been systematically violating the Constitution and breaking the law to trample the rights of the people.
Let's bring in Sunday Night in America host Trey Gowdy, former federal prosecutor and House Oversight Committee chairman. Trey, thank you for coming on. I just want to get your thoughts on what we heard out of the hearing today, because we've heard so much about these nationwide injunctions, and the message from Republicans is beginning to resonate with the general public that the courts are, being used as a tool of the left at this point.
Well, first of all, let's take a step back. Both sides have enjoined presidents from doing things that they didn't like. It's just a much bigger scale right now. And if you dive into the numbers, it is usually Obama, Clinton, Biden-appointed judges that are enjoining the president. So the math is pretty simple. To become a federal judge, you need 50 senators plus the vice president. To become the president, you need 270 electoral votes. So they're really not equal with one another, Jackie. And if you think about our legal system, the higher up you go, the more people you have to get to agree with you. If you're on the Supreme Court, you got to convince 4 other people to agree with you. If you're on the Court of Appeals, you got to get one other person to agree with you. As a district court judge, and I used to work for one, I got a lot of them that are friends, but you can do it by yourself. So I don't think that's what was intended, and I think the public doesn't like it, so you're going to see reforms, not impeachments, but reforms.
Listen to what Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal said today. I want to get your reaction.
If you try to eliminate birthright citizenship, jail people for free speech, slash funding and fire people, and eliminate departments that are actually established by Congress, if you try to use Cold War era regulations to do mass deportations, then yeah, you're going to get nationwide injunctions. So maybe if you don't like the injunctions, stop doing the illegal stuff.
Isn't the court supposed to determine whether something's illegal? Did her last line hurt the Democrats there in their argument?
Yeah, so who says we have birthright citizenship? That was a Supreme Court decision. And just like the Supreme Court has changed its mind on other issues, the only way to figure out whether or not that's still good law is to do an executive order or pass a statute and have it go up. I just find it really rich that Jayapal, who may be the most progressive member of the House, and that's saying something, she didn't have a problem when Barack Obama said, I'll do it with or without you. She didn't have a problem when Joe Biden said, what I'm about to do is probably unconstitutional with student loans, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think the American people would appreciate a little bit of consistency, a little less hypocrisy. This really should be a branch battle. Not a political battle, a branch battle between the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branches. If the president has overreached, the Supreme Court will tell him so. The question is whether one district court judge sitting in one courthouse can overrule someone who got 270 electoral votes. That's the issue. If you want to move it to the appellate court, if you want to create original jurisdiction in the Supreme Court, I don't think people would have a problem with that. But you have a single district court judge who may have barely made it through confirmation overruling a president, and I think that does trouble people.
Speaking of Obama, Congresswoman Jayapal might be surprised to hear what his appointee to the Supreme Court said on this issue. Take a listen.
It just can't be right that one district judge can stop a nationwide policy in its tracks and leave it stopped for the years that it takes to go through normal process.
Your final thought there.
Yeah, she said that while Joe Biden was president. I hope she still believes that with Donald Trump, because the judiciary would have a lot more respect if they didn't kind of ebb and flow depending on who was in the White House. I noticed the date. That was Joe Biden when Republicans were trying to enjoin him. Lady Justice wears a blindfold. She doesn't care who's in office. She doesn't care about politics. Shouldn't, at least.
Lady Justice wears a blindfold. We'll hope that continues. Thank you very much, Trey Gowdy, for joining us. Really appreciate it.